How can we be joyful in dark times? It doesn't seem like something that's possible or appropriate when there is suffering in the world to be full of joy. And yet there are people who have found and discovered and cultivated a deep sense of joy even in the worst times. I think of Etty Hillesum, a Dutch Jewish woman who in 1943 was sent to a concentration camp, a transit camp, and then on to Auschwitz, where she was killed. But from that transit camp, she wrote the following words. She wrote, "This morning there was a rainbow over the camp, and the sun shone in the mud puddles. When I went into the hospital barracks, some of the women called out, 'Have you got good news? You look so cheerful.' I considered saying something about peace being on the way. I couldn't fob them off with a rainbow, could I? Even though that was the only reason for my cheerfulness." Etty Hillesum, when you read her letters and her diaries, developed, even in the shadow of the Holocaust, a deep spirituality that opened her to love and to beauty and to a deep joy. It doesn't really seem possible. She wasn't in denial. She knew what was going on. She knew what was going on. And yet, despite it and within it, she found this joy. She found this connection. It doesn't really seem possible, and yet there is something in the spiritual experience that can enable people to say, in the words of Julian of Norwich, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." I believe that. I think there is something, there is a deep source which is accessible to us in all moments that can fill us with love and with joy and with an awareness of beauty, even in the deepest, darkest times. I believe there is a source of love that holds us all in this life within us, accessible to all of us. And the spiritual life is the attempt to grow more deeply rooted in that deep source.